Hey there, treasure hunting fans. Your old pal Big D back here with another installment of Star Trek Discovery review. And in this review, I'll be reviewing review. Boy, it's been a long day, so please, please pardon me. But I'll be reviewing today episode 5 of Star Trek Discovery, entitled "Choose Your Pain." Yes, this is a very heavy Klingon episode, but it also is another episode we get to see more of the Spore Drive and see how that works, which was actually really cool. It was very neat. Another great episode from beginning to end. This show just keeps going and getting better and better every time I turn around. It's just another wonderful episode. In this episode, we get to see Captain Lorca really in action. He was actually captured by the Klingons at the beginning of the episode, and he was taken prisoner and tortured. It was really cool to see. It was to see him in action, see how he plays out, see how he interacts with other characters beyond the ones on the bridge itself and on the ship. So it was neat to see that. And we also, and the coolest thing about the episode is we finally got to see, and finally a character came back, a beloved character from the original series, Harcourt Fenton Mudd. Harry Mudd is back. It was really cool. He's now played by Rainn Wilson, who did an amazing job. It was just great to see that character back. He was in 2 episodes of the original series and never really mentioned again, except for Star Trek Into Darkness, where they mention, just before they go to the Klingon planet, they mention the Mudd incident, which, if you read the graphic novel based on the movie, we'll discuss the Mudd incident, how they stole that ship, and it was Harry Mudd's, and, this, that, and the other thing. But it was really cool to see that character back, because in all honesty, other than that mention, they really haven't mentioned that character in a long time, nor have they ever really put him out anywhere else. So it's really cool to see him back. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens to that character, seeing as how he was left off at the end of the episode, to see what he's going to do and how he's going to get out of the peril that he was in. Also in this episode, again, because the captain was kidnapped, First Officer Saru ended up becoming acting captain, and for him, this is his first time really in the captain's seat, and he had to deal with not only trying to find his captain, but have to deal with Michael Burnham, who, from the previous 4 episodes, he has a really hard time with her because of what she did and the traitor that she was. So it was interesting to watch him fight with her and try to get his point across to her, and watch how she reacted to it, because it was a real interesting set of events that went on in this episode, because originally, back in the first episode, she was the first officer, he was her subordinate, and so this is the first episode where really, he's commanded around before. This is the first one where he had really stern, was like, my decision it's my decision and final, because I am the captain. There's nobody over me to tell me to do something different. I am the captain, you do what I say. So it was very interesting, and it was also really cool to finally find out what one of his chips on his shoulders is with her, and the fact that, what had happened in that first episode really affected him because of the death of a certain character, stuff like that. It was really interesting to see him kind of come out with that, and to show that he doesn't necessarily does not like Michael Burnham. He's not afraid of her. He's just he's upset with her because what she took away from him. And I thought it was really interesting, because I never really thought of it that way. So I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, the rest of the episode plays out like a typical episode. Everything ends up okay in the end and stuff like that. Two cool things about the episode, actually one thing I want to address is the Spore Drive was heavily used in this episode again, but unfortunately the Spore Drive, the creature they were using with this Spore Drive, was being hurt by it, so it decided to go into itself and hibernate, which means another crew member actually had to go and take the place of that and inject himself with some of the creature's DNA. And what I loved about the final scene, and this is a major spoiler, so turn this off now if you don't want to hear this, but really cool scene at the end of the episode was Lieutenant Stamets, who's the chief engineer on the ship. He was standing there brushing his teeth and looking at the mirror, and when he walked away, the image in the mirror was still standing there. And I was like, well, that's weird. What is he? And I know people in my house were like, oh, he's got no soul anymore. Look, his soul's been taken away from him. And I thought that's probably what it was. However, on Talk Trek after Star Trek Discovery, they said that it might be a precursor to, and if it is, I'm so excited, the Mirror Universe. Seriously, the Mirror Universe. How awesome is the Mirror Universe? Come on. Only problem with that whole scene was, where was his goatee? Because we all know in the Mirror Universe, you got to have a goatee to be bad. But it was really cool, and I'm hoping that's where they go. And my understanding is that they are gonna go into the Mirror Universe, which I know for some Star Trek fans are gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute, no, that can't happen, because we weren't even introduced in the Mirror Universe not until the original series, where we introduced when Kirk, Scotty, McCoy, and Uhura went into the Mirror Universe. That was the first time they were introduced to that, and it wasn't until Deep Space Nine when they went back and addressed that again, and the Kirk did this, so Spock did this, and all the stuff that the Empire fell down, and they were, so all that drama happened. But and then they didn't really address it in Voyager, but they did address it in Enterprise. So a lot of fans are upset because of that. But this is a different timeline. This is an extremely different timeline. This is not the Gene Roddenberry timeline. This is the J.J. Abrams timeline. So obviously things are different. So I'm really excited. I love the Mirror Universe. I love when you can take a character who's normally good and you turn him bad for an episode where you get to see where the true evil comes out. It's actually really good. It's really fun to watch. So definite thumbs up for episode number 5, Choose Your Pain. That title is in the episode too. You just have to listen for it. They will say that at one point. The last thing I'd like to address is the Klingons. There's been a lot of people out there that have been talking a lot of trash about the Klingons. A lot of people are saying they're having a hard time with the Klingons. They don't like the fact that they read subtitles all the time. I get it. The Klingons are, and I will admit, they're a little bit hard to get used to because they're very different from the original series or from Next Gen or from Voyager. They're different. They look completely different. They're bigger. They seem to be badder, and they've got a lot more prosthetics. And I think a lot of it is they've lost that human look to them, and they're definitely a lot more alien than they used to be. And I think people need to give it time. They've got a huge universe they've got to expand here. They've got to explain why all these factions were broken up and why they're all coming together now and how they're all going to work out. And so I think you just need to get a little bit of time, but I foresee a lot of really good things. I think that I'm glad to see the Klingons more involved. I mean, if you think about it, Next Gen, sure, had Klingons all the time because, well, Worf was a Klingon on the ship. But then you get, and even in Deep Space Nine, there's a lot of Klingons because of the space station and the war and all that stuff. So there's a lot of Klingons in that show too. But then Voyager, nothing other than you have your chief engineer who's half Klingon, but really, I mean, they're in a Delta Quadrant. There's no Klingons out there. And then even in Enterprise, we see a Klingon here and there. The first episode had a Klingon, and I know the finale, not really the finale, but there were a couple episodes of 4th season that had Klingons in them as well. There was that whole arc with Dr. Noonien Soong and how they went from looking like a total Klingon into looking human Klingon to explain why the original series they looked one way and then the rest they looked another way. But I think we need to give it time, and I think we need to get a little bit more. I think that they're really trying hard with the show to not develop the Michael Burnham character, the Captain Lorca character, the Stamets character. They're trying to address the crew first and get you used to the crew, and then I think they'll expand more on the Klingons. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Klingons. I think that they're going to be really cool. I've always been a big fan of Klingons. I think they're kind of what I think a lot of people want to be, which is just like robust and like grandiose and like, that's right, we're here, we eat, we kill, we have fun, we do everything. They're very just out there kind of a race. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. I'm really excited to see that. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please click the like button down below. If you're interested in seeing more videos by Big D here, click the subscribe button in the corner up there. Always be looking out for more of my videos. I'll be putting up 2 to 3 a week. Last week was a bad week. I only put out 1. I do apologize for that, but you'll be seeing more videos this week. Until then, always keep humming. Always keep hunting. Yes. And live long and prosper.